Welcome back, folks. We are at the IES Conference 2019 in beautiful Louisville, Kentucky. This is our, seventh live stream show here, Greg?
I think I've lost track, but somewhere in that range.
It's been a lot, man. And, I hope it hasn't been too much for all you listeners out there and watchers on the YouTube channels. And it's Saturday and you're sitting around watching the Get a Grip on Lighting guys. But those were some pretty wild podcasts this morning, man.
Those were great.
They were amazing, actually.
Sure.
Yeah, but maybe the best work we've ever done. This episode of the show and everyone we've done here at the IES Conference 2019 is sponsored by our friends at Kurtzon Lighting. Megan Carroll, thank you for joining.
It's Carroll with a C, not K like Kurtzon.
But that C-A-R-O-L.
2 R's, 2 L's.
There you go.
C-O. So planning an event like this. So you're the conference chair. What's exactly your title?
Conference Chairwoman.
Conference Chairwoman, okay. And is that a board position? Are you a paid employee?
I am never bored in this position. Let me
start with that.
It's a wonderful position. I was asked to do this.
Okay.
I was asked to take this role on after chairing the Illumination Awards for perhaps 5 years, ending in 2017, so that I could take the 2018 and 2019 role as chairwoman for the conference. It's an amazing opportunity. I am flattered as heck that I was invited to do all this work. Because it's an enormous amount of work. It is great fun. I work with people who are my peers, who I am thrilled to be in their company. I just came from an interview with Shuji Nakamura.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nakamura invented blue emitters, which are
legend.
Exactly. How cool is that? And I suppose you guys were here working. The interview was fun. It was lively. It was engaging. It was totally unexpected because my former boss, Mark Rausch of Experience Light, is and a past president of the IES, is a gifted interviewer, host, listener. He conducted the interview, and he made Shuji Nakamura fun, funny, interesting, entertaining. We were expecting, right, a PhD, an engineer, or a
Nobel
scientist.
laureate. Yeah,
exactly. He's just a guy.
Sure, he's just a person
who failed up. He had more failures on his way up,
of course,
than he did in successes. So very fun.
You know what? I mean, this whole idea of failure, success, and this quest for perfection and everything else, I think life is failure. That's
Absolutely.
what it is.
Right.
And then in some very brief moments, you succeed.
Right. You position yourself to get lucky. You work hard to get lucky.
Sure.
It's who are those? That song is by. They're not Canadians. I don't know who they are, but
Which song are you thinking of?
You work hard to get lucky.
Sing it for me.
I can't. I can arrange a conference, but I can't sing.
Yeah. Well, apparently I can. But Kentucky regrets my karaoke performances in the last 48 hours. Sorry, Kentucky.
He's had a number of them, so
sorry,
Kentucky. Be ready for that.
So
your full-time position is not planning conferences?
No, it's not.
What do you do?
I work for Acuity Brands Lighting in New York City as the senior spec rep for New York Digital. New York Digital is the agency for Acuity in New York. I've been there just 3 years in September. So I am a saleswoman in my other life.
At a manufacturer rep or an agency.
Right.
Okay. And what did you do before that?
I spent a lot of my time in sources, where I met my boss, Mark Rausch. I spent 10 years with Philips Lighting when it was just simple lighting.
Yes.
This was before LEDs, so I was on the specification side and in strategic marketing. I spent a few years with Lighting Science Group. I spent my last 7 years with Staccato. The tail of the dog wagging the industry, because we were a startup. We were a garage band, changing the way people experienced LED light because of the technology we invented and deployed through our modules. But again, that all goes back to Shuji and today, and being part of this industry and failing up. I'd been laid off 3 times in my career. but each time you have to make lemonade out of those lemons. Have fun, take some risks, see what happens next. So I'm enjoying my role now as almost retired conference chairwoman, and I'll go back to some other things I pursue.
Nice. Well, we're going to get into the conference, but you brought it up, and we haven't had a manufacturer rep or an agent on here. Tell us.
The agents have been getting beaten up by the distributors. There's a bit of a, we have a, there's, the problem is in lighting right now with there's a lot of different companies, there's a lot of different agents. And, I find one of the places where I noticed, I don't know how to say this the right way. One of the places, I don't want to say this because there's good agents and bad agents. There's good distributors and bad distributors. And some of them are nailed. Some of the good bad distributors, some of the good, I love all our members, but
it's humankind.
Exactly.
Yes.
But I find with the agents, you get the most of I get a lot of bad interactions with agents.
And you're a distributor in your other life.
My other life, yeah. I find there's just so many examples of where, and when you call up a rep agency for me, I actually sell light bulbs every day. You know what I mean? I go back from here and I go back, I take calls, I go out and count people's lights and whatever, enter orders on a thing and do it every day. And I'll get a call from, I'll be like, oh, one of my friends is is the VP of the company. He's like, oh yeah, no, our agent in Toronto is this guy. I just call him, whatever. So I call, or one of my guys calls the agents. And then one of the guys at my desk turns to me and he goes, yeah, I called that agent and he said that he had a different product from another manufacturer that was the same thing.
You're talking substitutions.
Yeah,
and
the agent.
alts.
Yeah. And that's my buddy you
Right.
just substituted.
Right. Awkward moment, right?
Yeah.
But what motivates the agent to do that?
I don't know. I don't know how that business works, but I encounter a lot of that kind of thing with agents where it's I wouldn't want to do a business with someone that did that.
And I hear about it on both sides. So my role as senior spec saleswoman for the New York Digital is I call on the professional lighting design community.
Sure.
I don't call in distributors. That's an entirely different team because it's a different part of our
Sure.
business. But I also have experienced it the other way, where I've worked diligently over years with a lighting designer to bring a project to fruition. And at the last minute, the submittal says, this, XYZ. But I'm with ABC and I've spent years sampling ABC product to her,
Sure.
answering questions, bringing her to my factory at ABC.
Sure.
But in the end, the distributor says, no, go with this. Why is that? So we both suffer from the same channel clutter, channel confusion.
Yes, that's a good way to channel clutter. That's a good way to put it. And there's so much channel clutter now.
It's very confusing. It's very mystifying. We continue to put obstacles in the way of our own successes and getting our product to market. I think Europe has a very good channel in that the manufacturer works directly with the end user. But there's also problems with that model in that there is no role necessary for lighting designers. The manufacturer does not have everything from exit signs to under cabinet lighting.
That's what a distributor does.
Right. So that's what your role is,
Yeah.
to represent a broad array of sources and solutions for the lighting contractor or the lighting designer. And we need to continue to find a better way to work together. So in the situation you portrayed, perhaps it's because there's miscommunication between your agent and the manufacturer you were talking to, what's going on in their world that is, instead of having them on parallel paths, they're diverging.
Or they're repping too many lines. That's the other thing too. Some of these agents that they have, I can't keep, it's hard for me to figure out. I'm a lighting guy, but some of these agencies, the fixtures are really complicated. Repping fixture lines there's so many, and you're talking not only function, form, but also aesthetic appeal and artistic style along with all the other things in lighting. And you see some of them that have 15 different, 16, 20 companies.
Well, I think to that there is so many, but there also isn't. At the same time, a lot of it's been commoditized. A lot of the fixtures are the same. LED tubes, how many different styles can you make? And every single manufacturer you're going to deal with as a manufacturer rep has that offering. So there's crossover all over the place.
And that's where it comes, where the distributors and the agents, representatives need to have better, clearer communication, because I can educate you on why my E panel or my S panel are going to perform more efficiently. I can inform why those are suitable for a clean room because we've taken out some of the pollutants that are typically in the phosphors or the plastic coating on that E panel. But if we don't have that communication, you're not going to know what's different and why, or what is the best product for that particular application. So channel clutter, it's only gotten more confusing, but we've also risked the role of distributors in all of this because distributors are now adding more value to their services because you have to be able to educate your consumers, and your consumers are your GCs, your ECs, and all of those people as well. So we all need to play together and sit at the same table.
I think the fun. I just when you said channel clutter and a couple other things occurred to me in the project side. We never used to do projects.
How did you make your
We used to just sell boxes of light bulbs to people when they burned out.
boring?
Well, that's what we
A
did.
lot more fun now.
Yeah, it's fun now. But the agents and the distributors are like, when it's a project, does the agent need a distributor? I don't think so, really. The agent can sell to anybody they want, right? Do they have to? Maybe they have to sell to a distributor or something like that. But it's like the project business was a new thing to emerge with rebates and all this sort of stuff. And distributors and agents are both going after it. And maybe that's why there's some tension between that channel.
That could be, but in New York City or in North America, in the U.S., agents don't buy projects; they support the projects. They support the lighting designers on their project. The project goes out to bid through the GC, the EC, and their subs, and that's when it goes through distribution. So we may work a little bit differently, and agents are independent. Each can have their own business model. We've seen some lighting design professionals
Become agents, right?
become agents.
Yes, I've seen that too.
Or they start to diversify their services as a lighting professional because we still don't make it clear why do I hire a lighting designer? What do they do? Why do I need them? Why don't I just go to a distributor and get some light bulbs? Because you might buy the wrong light bulb for the application. What did you know that you need a UV sleeve on that, or did you know you need it to be shatterproof? Or oh, it's a museum. You really want high color rendering, and you want to reduce
low UV,
glare and all of those things.
Sure.
So lighting designers diversify their services. They may become a consultant now for product development. They may become a consultant now for the marketing of a product. So the industry is very elastic, allows us to reinvent, but it's still congested with lots of clutter, lots of challenges, but it's fun.
So running an event like this, how many people are here?
About 600 people, which is quite surprising.
Is that a lot or low?
It's a lot.
To me, it looks like a big lighting event.
Good. It is. It's become a much bigger lighting event than it has been in the past. We were concerned following the conference last year in Boston that Louisville would be underserved. People, what's in Louisville? Why do I want to come here besides bourbon, baseball, horses? But the lighting conference, the IES, is now delivering more content in more forms, more modes of learning, more engaging. And so we were all blown away that the conference attendance today was on par with Boston last year. And I have to put that back on the staff of the IES because they're getting information out. They have increased their electronic learning content. So that might be webinars, that might be condensing this volume of book. Can you see this?
Yeah, sure.
From that down to an app on a phone.
Yeah, the Ready Reference app is a really cool tool.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
The impressions, 100,000 impressions last year. And those are just unique impressions, people going in to look and pick and check. So IES has really become today's zip car, right? You can take it for a spin. You can put it back if you don't want it. You can take it out for another spin the next day. We're not your parents' Oldsmobile anymore.
When we first encountered the IES from the podcasting perspective, Tom Butters came on the show in episode 11, so a long time ago, 2 years ago or something like that. And we named the episode IES Relevance. And it came out and was posted on an Innocent Report. It was put out, and Tom called me on the phone screaming and yelling at, "What the hell are you doing?" And he listened to it, and it wasn't question mark. It wasn't thing. It was just relevance.
As a statement.
Yes. And we talked about education. We talked about, the IES getting, leaving a vacuum in the industry and not moving quickly enough to answer the LED questions. But you know what? I think they moved as fast as they possibly could, actually, and because what you're talking about is an engineering society. They're not going to say something they don't know for sure, or not. Like, there isn't a technical memorandum in the research. All this stuff takes time, and I think what you're seeing now is people have had enough of kind of the BS that's out there. And there's like, who's in charge here? Oh yeah, there's that thing called the IES. We forgot about those guys.
We're the lighting authority.
Yeah,
Right.
for
And
sure.
it does take time, whether you're talking about LM80 testing,
Sure.
which means you need 50,000 hours to claim 300,000 hours of lamp life. So we're busting on fake research.
Yes, exactly.
We want real research. So we can't turn around an RP or a document within a month of some claim coming out. We need the time to do research. We need the time to have interviews,
Sure.
do poll testing, whatever it takes to validate
For sure.
the studies.
And institutions and governments need you guys to
Huge.
be at the table.
Right.
Like Detroit's a perfect example. You know what I'm saying? Like, they need the IES members to be at the table saying, hello, no, we're the lighting authority.
Exactly.
Oh, that guy says it's going to last forever. No. I'm not going to give you any promises that, let's talk about this and make sure you do the right thing. And I think, I think you're starting to see that Tom's work as the educational chair. Tim really brought in a new vision. This event is really good.
Thank you.
Like those demo rooms, I haven't seen. I'm going to see
How cool is that?
I haven't seen the glare one yet. We're shutting this thing down at 2:13 because apparently we have to be there at
Right.
thing, or you're not in.
Right.
That color thing was amazing.
You went to the TM30 room.
Yes.
Where you can experience color. So TM30 is a metric that measures fidelity, glare, and vividness of color. And it's a hard thing to teach. So what better way than to be in it than
Sure.
to get it?
It's not complicated, but I would say that it's elegant. Is that the way? You know what I
The
mean?
TM30 room?
Yes.
That's wonderful. I love your turn of phrase on that.
Yeah.
I haven't yet been in it. I've been a little busy behind
Just
the
a
scenes,
touch?
behind the curtains.
Kind of running the show.
But I thought it was very important to bring immersive experiences to our members here today, because we were not delivering on content and information in the last decade or so. But today there's so many different ways to learn, and we weren't adapting quickly enough.
My favorite is podcast, but I could be biased.
See, exactly. So the IES through Tom Butters and Brian and Brienne and Zoe and Patricia McGillicuddy are delivering different modes of experiences and learning, whether it's webinars, the conferences, immersive experiences, paper lectures. But then you get to crowd the stage and talk to Shuji Nakamura, because we just had a conversation. It wasn't a lecture. Lectures are good, but they're not enough, and they're not the best way to learn for all of us. So I like to mix it up. I like to bring people together. I like to make connections and foster growth and community, and understand why is there this channel clutter, and how do we work through that by understanding each other's jobs and by stepping into your shoes for
and getting to
now
know
and then.
people. Like, how many people have come in here and said, you know what, I really love doing. Why do you love doing it? The people in this industry are so great, and I just love working with them. Everybody says that.
Isn't that cool?
It really is.
I don't think we would have had that experience if we were insurance actuarials.
Right.
I don't think.
Don't pick on them. Watch it. Watch it. I want to ask you something, and I can't remember who it was that said this, but this is such an IES name. Okay, we're gonna have a conference on the non-energy benefits of lighting. It's like, we want to talk about something other than saving energy in the lighting world. It's like, and when you come here, it's like, yes, we know LEDs are efficient. Okay, good.
Right.
Okay, good. Check out that color room, folks. Come to the if you what did you say they were?
Immersive experiences.
Immersive experiences. Like, that is worth the price of admission all day long. Or if you're an owner of a company and you got your lighting guy, that is super amazing.
The other experience rooms include glare. So you understand why distributors and specifiers together make the best approach to solving lighting problems, because in some markets, glare is good. In some markets, in some applications, you don't want glare. You need the right application. You need the right tool. And
glare is security sometimes.
Right. glare can be
like
good.
a prison yard.
Can be disabling glare.
Prison yard, right?
Right,
The lights are
right.
shined right so they go right in your
For a
eyes.
good reason.
Yeah.
Yellow sodium in the parking lot of the Quick Marts, right? With bad music. That's the way you kept the teenagers out. So it depends on what the application is. What do you want to light? What do you want to highlight? But you can learn those things here through experiences.
Yes.
Networking, jumping in the TM30 room, coming to the Illumination Awards Gala,
Mhm.
and seeing the rock stars. Do you know at the Illumination Awards Gala, we had designers from the Ukraine, from Russia, and from Japan come here to Louisville, Kentucky to accept their awards.
That's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
That's huge.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's something really valuable, I think, about being at a conference too. We talk about the different ways you can learn. And like you guys said about those experience or immersion rooms, is that the right term?
Immersive
Immersive
experiences.
experience. Write it down, man.
You got it. You wrote it. You just can't do that online. You can't do it any other way. You need to actually be here and be in it.
Right.
So I think that's unique. And you brought up the location too. We've done some conference with our association, Nailed, and I'm starting to find that location doesn't really matter.
Exactly. And that's what we found here.
Yeah.
It's because we're delivering better content, better experiences, networking, and community. And the other thing we learned Thursday with
How many
our
times can you go to Vegas too? I mean,
Oh,
oh
Give me
God.
Vegas.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry
The
to interrupt,
emerging
but-
professionals, 70% of them said they want more FaceTime with their peers.
Yeah.
They want more FaceTime learning. And here we all thought it was all about working remote, working from home, coming into work, if there is work, in your PJs and your flip-flops.
Right.
Today's emerging professionals are looking for more human interaction.
No
I'm stunned.
generation has been more horribly labeled than the millennials.
Yeah. It's very true.
Like what robbing them of their individuality.
Right. Like saying distributors are all bad,
Yeah,
right? See?
yeah, or agents or whatever. Yeah,
Right.
But it's so tragic the way that that people. I don't know why it is that now we're like it's the epoch of labels.
Yes. Yes. And so we're busting down those labels.
Bust
like
them
I
down.
said, we're not your father's Oldsmobile anymore. This conference is a whole new zip car. It's a fun ride.
It is fun. We enjoyed the award deal or the progress report. That was fun.
Right?
Get a hand on. Little events or whatever.
I can't believe the work that must have gone into that.
And that's
like
all
full-blown-
volunteer work. That is volunteer work.
I can't.
Full-blown productions, like movie clips and taping. It was
Yeah.
awesome. It was great.
And leading up to that, though, there is the vetting of products, reading of
Yeah.
submittals.
Oh man.
Then they also fact check the data because sometimes manufacturers overclaim.
Oh, really?
They might
Come
overclaim.
on. Come on.
So those
How dare you, Megan?
volunteers fact check everything. So there is no alternative fact. There is one set of facts, and they make sure through the progress report that those are the facts, Jack.
That's right.
So I'm in my 42 years. I've had a lot of bad experiences with volunteerism. Just all over the place. I don't know what it comes down to, whether it's bad leadership or people are committing and they're too busy and they shouldn't commit, you know what I mean, or whatever,
Right,
and they
right.
don't do it. And, just with my experience with Nailed on the board, the volunteer board of Nailed, when I was on it, there was a lot of like, oh God, is this over? I'm just getting with this. Yes, I vote yes. You know what I mean? And that kind of stuff. The IES is the exception to that.
Your volunteerism with the IES?
Yes. Like I think volunteerism is the worst thing. I hate it. Whenever I get into a situation where there's a volunteer stuff and I'm not in charge, I'm out. That's kind of my opinion on. The only place I've ever seen it function incredibly well is at the IES.
Thank you. I'm going to take that as a thank you because I think we're all agents of change. And I have to think that maybe your volunteerism has been associated with Tom Butters.
Tom,
because
and-
he was
yeah.
one of your icons, your leaders up there.
Sure.
I don't know. But we build with consensus where we can and listen to others and make it collaborative. And believe me, I wouldn't be doing this amount of work if it wasn't fun. And if I wasn't being listened to, if I didn't have an effect, if I can't have an effect on change, I'm not going to be here.
I told Greg for sure she gets paid to do it. That's what we said before he came in.
We thought.
Yeah.
I get a complimentary room.
Wow. Well, thank you very much, Megan.
And I got a bottle of bourbon. So I'm
that
good.
works.
I'm good.
Oh,
Oh,
you know
you
what? The only problem with Louisville, there's only one problem with Louisville.
And
I can't figure out which bourbon's the best.
I know, right?
Oh, man.
We're not done yet. But
Another night.
my last act is about 4:15, and then I'm out of here. So I'm having a cocktail.
There you go.
Join me at the bar.
We will.
All right.
Folks, if you're listening out there, we thank you. The most important person is you, the listener and the watcher of the Get a Grip on Lighting podcast, and also these live streams from the IES conference. Of course, go to kurtzon.com. That's KURTZON.com, baby. Kurtz on Lighting, specification grade. Thank you, Megan Carroll.
Thank you. That was fun.
Thank you.
It was fun.